Okay, let's jump into the scene. Imagine you're walking down a busy sidewalk. You're wearing an outfit you actually really like. But as you pass a group of strangers laughing at a cafe table, your internal alarm goes off. You suddenly wonder if your walk looks weird. You adjust your bag, you check your phone just to look busy. You feel like every person in a 10-block radius has just hit pause on their life to pull out a scoreboard and give you a mediocre 4.2 out of 10. By the time you get to the destination, you're exhausted. You haven't even spoken to anyone, but you've already survived 1,000 tiny imaginary trials. You've been found guilty of being awkward, guilty of being too much, or worse, guilty of being boring. You aren't vain, and you aren't self-centered. You're experiencing sociometer anxiety. It is a deep-seated neurological survival mechanism that's convinced your reputation is the only thing keeping you from being left out in the cold. Welcome to the truth about the fear of judgment, and why the jury in your head is actually just a ghost from your evolutionary past. In social psychology, we don't just have self-esteem, we have a sociometer. Think of it like a fuel gauge on a car's dashboard, but instead of measuring gas, it measures relational value. Your brain is constantly monitoring the environment for cues that people might exclude you, because for 99% of human history, exclusion meant you wouldn't have anyone to help you hunt, share a fire, or protect you from predators. When you feel the fear of judgment, your sociometer is just doing its job. It's trying to keep you within the lines of the tribe. The problem is that in the modern world, the tribe is 8 billion people. Your brain hasn't caught up to the fact that a stranger on a bus thinking your shoes are ugly doesn't actually affect your ability to survive the winter. Your gauge is hypersensitive, reacting to low fuel warnings that aren't actually real. The most irrational part of this fear is something we call the spotlight effect. This is the psychological phenomenon where we grossly overestimate how much other people notice our appearance or behavior. In a famous study at Cornell University, researchers asked participants to wear an intentionally embarrassing t-shirt, featuring a singer they weren't necessarily fans of, into a room full of people. The participants were convinced that at least half the room would notice the shirt. In reality, only about 20% of the people even saw it. Your brain is the director of your own life movie, so to you, you're always center stage in high definition. But to everyone else, you're just a background extra in their movie. People are so wrapped up in their own imaginary juries and their own insecurities that they simply don't have the mental bandwidth to judge you with the intensity you imagine. You're terrified of a spotlight that's actually just a dim hallway light. Have you ever been giving a presentation or talking to someone you like and you're convinced they can see how nervous you are? You feel like your racing heart and sweaty palms are visible through your skin, like you're made of glass. This is the illusion of transparency. We believe our internal states leak out for everyone to see. But the reality is that humans are surprisingly bad at reading each other's internal emotions, unless we explicitly state them. Because you feel the judgment so intensely, you assume the other person must be thinking it. You're projecting your internal monologue onto their silent face. This creates a feedback loop of doom. You feel awkward. You assume they see it. You get more awkward, and you conclude they must be judging you. In reality, they're probably just wondering if they left the oven on or if they have something in their own teeth. Our brains are naturally sticky for negative information. This is evolutionary negativity bias. If 10 people give you a compliment and one person gives you a weird look, your brain will spend the next 3 days dissecting that one look. This happens because in the wild, a weird look from a tribal leader was a life-threatening data point, while a compliment was just a nice to have. Your brain treats judgment like a physical threat. When you feel judged, your body releases cortisol, the same hormone released when a car swerves into your lane. You aren't sensitive. You're biologically wired to prioritize social safety over social pleasure. Your brain would rather you be invisible and safe than flamboyant and judged. It's choosing that boring gray sweater because to your amygdala, gray is the color of survival. If you want to stop living in a courtroom, you have to realize that the jury isn't actually interested in the verdict. The most powerful way to conquer the fear of judgment is social exposure therapy. But with a twist, the error test. Intentionally do something slightly wrong. Wear mismatched socks or ask a dumb question in a meeting. When you do this, you provide your brain with corrective data. You show your sociometer that the world didn't end, the tribe didn't exile you, and the sun still came up. You're manually recalibrating your fuel gauge. Another trick is to move from self-consciousness to other consciousness. Instead of asking, "What do they think of me?" ask, "How can I make them feel comfortable?" By shifting your focus outward, you turn off the spotlight and lower your own internal noise. You stop being the defendant and start being the host. The truth is, the fear of judgment is a sign that you're a deeply social, high-functioning human being. It's a sign that you care about your place in the world, but you have to remember that you aren't a balance sheet. You don't exist to be vetted by people who don't even know your middle name. The verdict on your life belongs to exactly one person, you. Everyone else is just a spectator passing through the gallery. They might have an opinion, but they don't have a vote. So wear the loud shirt, make the niche joke, walk with your weird stride. The tribe is much bigger and more forgiving than your ancient brain thinks it is. If this look into the imaginary courtroom helped you feel a little more free, hit the like button and please subscribe to the channel. We're building a tribe here where you can leave the scoreboard at the door. I'll see you in the next one. Go ahead, be judged today. It's a lot more fun than being invisible.